Welcome to an amazing afternoon safari, and look what we found, some giraffe. Pretty amazing, everybody. And this is Safari Live. Hello everybody, and welcome to another fantastic afternoon in the African bush. My name is Tayla, and on camera we've got David, everybody. And we're going to have a wonderful afternoon because we've got some giraffe already. And we've even got a mother, and you can see the young calf coming to her left, almost making its way there. Just see it now. Here it is, which is amazing. This is the first mom and calf that I've seen since I've been here. So, quite amazing. Lots and lots of firsts happening for me in my first cycle here at Safari Live. Very exciting. It's a little bit windy still this afternoon. If you watch the show from this morning, we were all mentioning how the wind just started gusting, and it has continued to gust and hasn't stopped, unfortunately. However, this is working in the giraffe's favor. Now, the reason why I say that it's working in the giraffe's favor is because you can see the way that the giraffes are eating, and you can also see that the direction that the wind is blowing. They are downwind from those trees. Can you see that? See how the leaves are blowing towards the giraffe. Right, sorry everybody, a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but I'm back and I'm working again. So as I was saying, it's quite amazing how the giraffe have figured this out, and I need to commend the scientists that have worked out this little theory that I'm about to tell you. Now, a lot of the trees that the giraffe feed on, and also at this time of the year we've been chatting about the tannin levels in the different plants. Now, something that I find pretty unbelievable, I think is the only way to describe it, is that the giraffe have worked out if a tree that they are feeding on has a tannin in the form of a pheromone that is released when it is being browsed upon, when it is being attacked, that tree will start producing those pheromones from the roots and then eventually being released via the leaves. And those... Okay, everyone. Let me quickly reposition of the giraffe, and let's go over to say hello to Jamie so long, and then I'll carry on telling you about what's going on with these giraffes.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Sunrise Safari. My name is Jamie. The gentleman sitting behind me is Liam, and the gentleman that we're following over there, his name is Herbert. And boy, do we have some exciting news for you. Herbert is currently leading us to where he spent the whole day tracking down Karula and her cubs with Fanuti, who is one of the wonderful Djuma trackers. And they found the Queen of Djuma and the cubs finally. They have returned to us once again after an extended absence. So, for those of you who are new to the show, Karula, the Queen of Djuma, is a female leopard, and she has two wonderful, nearly 8-month-old cubs. There's a stick there with her, and it's been a considerable period of time since we last saw her. And I'm hoping Herbert's going to guide us through. The reason he's come out to guide us is because this area is absolutely impossible. We are on our way. Oh, goodness gracious. This could be interesting, so everybody hold on to your hats and your sunscreen. Definitely make sure you're wearing sunscreen because it's hot out here. Slow down, Herbert. I'm not as fast as you are. Now Tayla wants to just get hold of me. Hold on, I'll switch her to open so you can hear what she's saying. Standing by, Tayla. Tayla, go ahead.
Sorry, I need to stand by for just 1 minute.
Copy. Okie dokie. So she's in here somewhere, not too far away from where we had Mvula and Xongile on a kill. couple of months ago. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's go this way. Are we going to get a flat tire? Maybe. Is it worth it? Maybe. See, to me, what does Herbert know about that side that I don't? Because I feel like that's a better way to go. You're holding on there, Viam. Excited to see a leopard. Is this your first leopard since you've been back from leave? First one in ages. Oh, we definitely have to get you, Karula. Oh, goodness. Okay, so she's in this really, really steep drainage. I'm not sure what our view is going to be like, but it's going to be, oh, totally worth it. I'm very impressed that Herbert actually knows. Whoa, careful. Oh. And it was going so smoothly. Oh! Watch the thorns! And around again. And back through again. So, for our newer viewers that are a little bit concerned about the... Here we go. About the trees that we're driving over, we're very, very careful about the tree species that we pick. And we pick species that will bounce back over to us. Okay, which way did Herbie go? Sorry everybody, if I'm not looking back at you, it's just because I'm concentrating on getting round and through here, and apparently there's some problems with Tayla and her, not problems with Tayla, just to clarify, she's wonderful. No, I meant problems with Tayla's audio. I've lost him. Herbie moves fast. It's okay, I've got his tracks in front of me. And I know roughly where I'm going because he described it to me. I imagine on this blisteringly hot afternoon, Karula and her cubs are going to be in the shade. Personally, I'm really hoping that they've got a kill there. Perhaps we'll enjoy some sightings with her over the next few days even. It just feels so long since we last got to see her. Sorry, Herbie, please repeat your message. Okay, what do you think, Viam? Can we get through here? I think so. It's gonna smack you though. I'd rather it didn't. Got it? Cool. I thought I was being clever coming this way. I don't think I was. Okay. I'm going to squeeze through here. For now, let's send you back over to Tayla for an update with some audio and her giraffe. Got it there, Viam?
Everybody, I'm back again, and I hope my voice is sounding as good as ever. Sorry about the technical difficulty a little bit earlier, but we are fixed and we are ready to carry on. Now, before I was interrupted by my microphone troubles, I was telling you about the giraffe feeding habits and how they love to plants that have got high tannin levels. So you will see them facing into the wind, and by doing this, they are able to avoid the tannins that are in the form of a pheromone that are blowing back down onto the next tree. And oh, mom giraffe is coming back again, which is fantastic. Darby, we've got some hope because they keep disappearing into the thicket. Where did she go? Where is she gone? Sorry everybody, we're just trying to... I saw mom stepping out slightly. Now we've lost the giraffe behind all the trees. My goodness, everybody, this is going to be like another termite segment where it's going to take me about 3 hours to tell you what I want to tell you. There she is. Never fear. She was just blending in and looking like a tree, everybody, but there she is. Oh, now she's hiding again behind some more trees. Can you get her there?
Yep.
Oh, fantastic. Wonderful. Sorry. We're parking on a bit of a slope, everybody. Now, as I was very quickly trying to say, I'm going to try and get this out as quick as possible before I have any more interruptions this afternoon, is that when those chemicals, those pheromones are blown onto another tree, they start to tell the other trees, I'm being attacked. You know, defenses, get ready. That's exactly what they're saying, but I don't know if they have voices. That's the voice that comes to my mind. And that tree becomes, and it starts to taste bitter, which is what a tannin does to a plant. And the giraffe have figured out if they feed into the wind, they avoid that pheromone being blown on tree to tree. So fantastic, isn't it? Pretty amazing. And now they're disappearing into the thickness, everybody. That was a very short. Oh, is she going to pop out? Come on, giraffe. Oh, no. Come on. I'm so sorry, everybody. The giraffe seemed to have left us, but we will find some more giraffe, however. That'll be one of our goals. And I know what else we have to do today is we've got to go to the Wahlberg's Eagle's Nest, and I'd like to try and find that herd of elephants that we had earlier today as well. They were quite beautiful, and it turned out to be a much bigger herd than I originally thought. Now, the direction that they were going in was towards Twin Dams, the watering hole itself. Now, possibly with this warm weather that we've got, maybe they're going to go and have a bit of a splish and a splash. So, let's start making our way around there towards Twin Dams and see if we can find those elephants that we had earlier this morning. But I hope that you can all hear me nicely now. Ooh. Sorry, everyone. So we've got a little bit of a way to go. We're going to pass another watering hole as well. We're going to go past Xongile Pan at some point, probably before we get to Twin Dams, just to see if those elephants also didn't maybe do a little turn around and a loop around, because Xongile Pan has got water in at the moment, a seasonal pan, so we don't pump any water into that. There's a good little halfway mark for the elephants or any animal really to come through and have a little drink. Ooh. These roads seem to have got bumpier and bumpier every day. Now that's probably from all the water that was deposited on the roads, and with us driving through, splashing out some mud, almost how a mud wallow is formed. We won't go too far. But it's a beautiful afternoon. I forgot to tell you how hot it was. It's 93 degrees Fahrenheit this afternoon. So you're going to be seeing us, myself and Jamie, drinking lots and lots of water and applying sorry. Completely tongue-tied, but I've got it out of my system now, and hopefully that'll be the last time for the show. But we're going to be putting copious amounts of sunblock on us. Right. Good afternoon, Debbie from Vancouver. Debbie wants to see some reptiles this afternoon. I would like to see some reptiles too, and you're quite right, it is nice and hot. So perhaps we'll be lucky. Maybe we can even start looking for the tree agamas. Those are quite pretty, everybody. I don't know if any of you have seen them. I'm sure you must have, though. Now, those funny looking lizards that like the trees and that have got a bright blue head. They're quite special. So we'll be looking on knobthorns and marulas to see if we can see any dangling off. And what other reptiles? Oh, I hope we get to see some snakes soon. That would be really nice. Maybe a puff adder. I like puff adders, even though their reputation isn't that great. I like them. I think they're placid snakes. They've never ever given me any trouble before. Or my absolute favorite snake is a brown house snake, everyone. I don't have my reptiles book on me, so I can't show you a picture. But it's brown, and it's got these little white sort of, I suppose you could say, eyebrows. They look like eyebrows going across. And in the sun, the brown scaling is quite amazing, because if you hold it up at the right light, or if you see them shimmering in the light, it looks sort of like a purpley color that comes through. It's really lovely. They're my favorite snakes, and they're constrictors, so not venomous at all, and also very, very placid, though most snakes are placid. I don't know about the cobras though. I've never really got close enough to a cobra, and every time I've ever seen cobras, they've always been quite angry, so I just keep away from them. Now we're coming up to Chele Pan soon. We're not too far, we're just around the corner, and hopefully we're going to get an idea of where these elephants had gone, because right at the end of the show we actually managed to find a nice group of them as we were trying to make our way out, dash towards the Wahlberg eagle's nest. Now, I don't see any big, large mammals around here at the moment, but let's just have a look at the water. Just double check. Find a nice little spot here. It's a lovely pan, this. There's a little gap for you to look through. Very nice little natural pan. Only thing we've got at the moment is a starling bouncing on the edge of the tree. The Burchell starling doing a handstand. Did you see that? That's a very acrobatic Burchell starling. What has it got there? Is it fruit? A jackalberry fruit. It's a funny looking jackalberry. It's got no leaves on it, everybody. But look at all that tasty, delicious fruit that it is bearing. And I suppose that makes sense as to why that Burchell starling was doing a handstand. It was obviously just trying to find one fruit. Two starlings now. Or maybe we're going to see a doubles competition or something. Oh, look at that. I don't think it's doing the handstands on purpose, everyone. I think it's the wind taking the tail feathers and blowing it almost upside down. There we go. Now you can see how windy it is that even the birds are struggling today. So my hair is going to blow everywhere, and I suspect that Darby's going to have to catch my hat a few times today too. Otherwise I just need to make it very tight. David says he's got it. Beautiful birds. Such character. And I've mentioned this before, but my favorite starling is the Cape Glossy starling with a bright orange eye. I love that one. Oh, the Burchells are nice too. I just don't think they have as much character. But perhaps I need to get to know them a little bit better. And you see, now I'm not a fan of when the birds do this, and I'll tell you why. It's because when I want to eat a jackalberry, the only jackalberries I can find are ones with little holes in them, courtesy of the birds. And then all the insects and things have gone inside, and they're not particularly tasty, well, not according to me. So eat the whole thing, and don't leave the half-eaten fruit for me. But they don't look very ripe yet. They go nice and yellow when they're ripe. So you are being greedy and you're not being patient. Just wait a few more days and you'll have an entire tree filled with lovely yellow fruits. And those vervet monkeys that we saw this morning as well, I don't know why they're not here. They would have a great time eating all of this lovely fruit rather than the mushrooms and the grass and the bits of leaves. But now they're gone. Right. Everyone, let's carry on for our search for the elephants. I'm looking straight into the sun, just blinding myself slightly. And we're going to carry on along Twin Dams Road, though. We're going to sort of head back south and see if we can find the rest of the clan. Ooh. So I know Jamie is trying to follow up on Karula. Very exciting. I hope that she is successful in her mission. It would be nice to see a spotted cat. And I'd like to try and also find some hyenas tonight. I've only seen two, I think I've said. Yeah, only two, very briefly. That would be nice. We see their footprints everywhere and they come and harass us in the evenings at the DRC. But we never see them out on drive anymore. Oh, here we go. We've got Mr. Impala. Hello, Mr. Impala. Walking in the distance, all on his lonesome. Now, we're coming into one of the ruts. It should start around October, November. Probably more, maybe halfway through October. And this is probably why we're just seeing this impala on his own, because we've been seeing large bachelor herds over the last 2-3 months, and they've all joined up to regain their strength to eat and get fit again. And now that we're coming into the false rut, everybody's going to start marking territories again. And now he's gone. But okay, he doesn't want to be seen. I don't blame him. He's very vulnerable all on his own. He's had his mates to help him out, and okay, Bob, it's your turn, you keep watch tonight. But now he's got to do all of those things again, so he's going to lose condition very quickly. And that's a good spot actually. He had lovely chele pan. Ooh, a little bit bumpy here. So he has chele pan, he's got good grazing, good shelter, he's got a bit of everything. Come on, elephants. Now I wonder if they haven't continued walking in that drainage line. I can see their footprints, everybody. Let's see. Can you see their footprints in the sand? Yep. There we go. You can just have a quick look at the footprints. So the elephants have gone south, and while I continue on my search for the elephants, Jamie's found a spotted cat, everyone.
Look who we found. Well, I say we. Look who Herbert found for us. The wonderful Queen Karula. Very much in probably one of the most difficult spots we have ever found her, if you'll excuse the pun. She's killed a bushbuck and she's dragged it right into this incredibly dense area. I can't get any closer. This is as good a view as I can get. I'm trying to get in. We've tried, I think Viam and I have tried each and every single possible angle. Now it is an area, remember how I spoke about how we're very careful about the trees that we drive over? Well, this area is full of tambuerti trees, and that's one tree that we absolutely never drive over, not particularly, most especially the saplings, because those are the things that actually do a marvelous job with their long root systems of holding an area like this, the soil, in place. So they're very, very crucial to the part of this ecosystem. And so as a result, we can't drive over them at all. So I can't, well, I mean, not that I could drive through any of this. It is next to impenetrable. Absolutely cannot get through. Her kill is just out of view from where we are now. It's down there. It's hidden in that little gully. And most of it has been eaten, which is a pity, but there's still plenty on it. And I'm hoping that if we play the patience game, I'm hoping that it might pay off, and perhaps her cubs will come out and feed. Maybe Hosana, the little prince, or little chief, will decide to emerge. I mean, it's surprisingly difficult to spot a leopard, even when they're right on top of you, especially the little cubs, and especially in a thick area like this. I'm just wondering if I haven't missed one of them somewhere, but I don't think so. I've only got Karula. Her cubs must be resting in the shade somewhere else, possibly right in front of me, for all I know. And that is pretty much that. That's pretty much all we can do in terms of trying to get a view. And if she lies down, she hasn't yet, but if she does lie down, then she is going to disappear from our view completely. Now, the unfortunate thing is I could probably get there to where she is. However, it would mean driving right between her and right on top of her kill, between her and her kill, which is just not something I think we should do. Obviously, it's not very comfortable, and it's her kill. It's not very respectful at all. So we can't do that. We just have to, well, we just have to wait. We have to patiently wait for her to perhaps get peckish again. I might leave and then come back in the hope that perhaps something has decided, or one of them has decided to come and feed. But for now, we're just going to sit and bide our time for a little bit, and then perhaps try again later. I'm scanning the bushes, trying to see if one of her cubs isn't asleep in the shade. It's such a hot afternoon, and with full bellies, that is perhaps what they're going to be doing. In fact, that's definitely what they're going to be doing. But there's our queen, unmistakably, I think. I said that. I haven't actually seen her face properly. Definitely the adult there. Hey, big girl. Don't suppose you're feeling hungry. You can see, even with this really limited view of the leopard, that she's obviously full-bellied. And the reason that I know that is she's panting. And it is hot. It is admittedly quite hot this afternoon. But you can see the rapid movement of her throat and the bouncing movement of her head. And that's partly because it's hot, but mostly because she has gorged herself on bushbuck. Our Karula has proved to be a fantastic provider of food for her offspring. She's kept these two little cubs, wherever they may be, incredibly well fed. And I'm really hoping that one of them might decide to come slinking out at some point. There is a nice cool breeze, but perhaps that will encourage them to move a little bit earlier than they might otherwise. Jennifer, with absolute pleasure, I will say thank you to Herbie for finding you the leopards. I have already said thank you to him multiple times. I said thank you to him in Shangaan, and Herbie's been teaching me Shangaan. So he responded by telling me to say thank you very much, not just thank you. So certainly a lesson there from Herbert. But I will tell him that you all say thank you. He has proved to be unbelievably successful when it comes to tracking down Karula and her cubs, and he loves it. It's an art form that he is constantly practicing. How on earth they managed to track them all the way into this area? I mean, we are so far from any of the roads. And I know it took him hours and hours of his day this morning. He is a true legend. Was that a tail or a cub? The tail. I can't see her at all. From my angle, I can't see her. I don't think. I can hear Taxon on his way. Tax is arriving with a host of very, very excited guests. I wonder if that's... I don't know what I'm looking at. Actually, I think I'm looking at her. Come to think of it, I've just got a slightly different angle and I'm slightly lower than Viam. Ah, dear. And this, of course, is true leopard behavior. Finding themselves the most hidden position possible. I'm now seeing spots everywhere. And a drainage line like this whole area has been cut into the earth by the flow of water over years and years and years. And it's created some very, very different vegetation to the stuff we usually see. The Tambuti thickets, you'll only see them in these river-like systems in this particular area. And this is the perfect hiding place for a leopard. Right, what can we... Let's play I Spy while we entertain ourselves for the duration of the sighting, since Karula's not coming out. Her cubs are not... I thought I saw spots, but I got overexcited. It wasn't. It was a tree. So perhaps we shall play I Spy. What shall we play I Spy with first? We go back to... Can you see that reddish flower sticking up there, Viam? It was near her head. I saw it in the monitor. Where's her head? It's a tail. She's flicking her tail. That's quite a good... I mean, it's probably because of the flies, but at least it gives us something to look at. And I'll play I Spy in a few moments, but we have got a nice question from Anne, who would like to know the difference between leopards and cheetahs, aside from the obvious. And if you forgive me, I'm going to do the obvious as well, just because our obvious might not be too obvious for some of our newer viewers. So, the biggest distinction when you first see a spotted cat in the bush is to look at its body shape. So, a cheetah is quite long and slender. They are definitely not as stocky as a male leopard, maybe around the same weight as a female leopard, but they do have very, very long legs, and their legs look almost dog-like as opposed to the big stocky build of a leopard. So a leopard is smaller and very stocky and much more powerfully built. A cheetah is built for speed, a leopard for stealth. And if you hold that one thought for 1 second, I know Herbert's just been trying to get hold of me. After all he's done, it's the least I can do. Go ahead, Herbie. A Tayla.
copy.
He just wanted...
Tayla, you copy?
There we go. He just wanted to know who else was driving from our side. Right, back to cheetahs and leopards. Unfortunately, the view that we have doesn't really support my next point, but the spots of a cheetah and a leopard are different. So in cheetah, the spots are solid. Now in a leopard, they're solid around the face as well and around the legs, but in cheetah, they're solid dots, like somebody took a large Sharpie and dotted their coat, whereas leopards actually have rosettes on the spots of their backs and their sides. Now you can't see that from where we are, and this is the only view that VM's got. In fact, I'm quite glad this was the view we managed to even get a view. But leopards have rosette as opposed to spots. Now in terms of behavior, the one major thing that leopards or cheetah will do that leopards will not is male leopards are social. Sorry, that's very confusing. Male cheetah are social. They form male coalitions of up to 8 members. It's usually around 2 or 3, but up to 8 members. Leopards do not do this. They are strictly solitary cats. The only times you really see them together is a female with cubs, or if she is mating with a male. Every now and again they encounter each other, but those are exceptions rather than rules. Whereas a cheetah coalition, a male coalition, will stay together. Then types of habitat as well. You very rarely find cheetah in places like this. This is much more geared towards a leopard. The cheetah need at least a relatively... They don't mind hunting in vegetation. Don't get that completely wrong. They're not completely limited to open areas. But they do need a little bit of open space to get their full speed up. And whilst both of them are not sort of ultra marathon runners, a leopard is a short-based speed ambush, whereas with cheetah they can run for a good couple of 100 meters as they race forward to catch their prey. I can hear poor Tax on his way. I'm going to be getting hold of him in the Game Drive channel in a moment. There we go, I can see him coming through. I want to talk on the Game Drive channel, but unfortunately it is occupied right now. Can see she's been panting heavily. She's got saliva dribbling down her chin. Tax. Tax-M4, see if you can get a visual from up there before you come down into the drainage. She's off to my left here, but I've got 0.5 visual for now. Sorry, I'm just helping Tax out. Shame. After all that, he's had to drive all the way off road, and just imagine, I mean, we just have to watch out for the camera, VM, and the antenna. And poor Tax has to watch out for guests' heads as well. And they might be less inclined towards grabbing a stick than perhaps VM is. Here we go. Hello, girl. Thank you for that. So in terms of cheetahs and leopards, since she has presented us with this lovely shot of her head, and you'll notice that she's got quite a stocky, broad head. The jaws of a cheetah are not quite as powerful. You can try them I can't even see her from where I am, only the camera can. But you can try. You can see if maybe you can squeeze around where the bumper is in the shkoba. I'm not quite sure what Tax would like me to do. There she is. She's got her head up. I wonder if she's thinking about making her way towards that carcass. I wonder where her cubs are as well. Are they lying somewhere just there with Mom? Now Thomas, there's the wow in the forehead. Thomas, you wanted to know if her cubs are out of danger yet, or if there's anything that's a threat to them. They're almost out of danger. Well, no leopard is ever, no wild animal is truly out of danger. But they are certainly making huge strides to reaching independence and to reaching... So basically, the leopard's first year of life is their most dangerous. Sorry, there was a fruit chafer between my toes. I just had to concentrate on getting it out. The most dangerous life for a leopard cub is... Oh, hold on. Why are those go-away birds calling? Have they seen the cub somewhere? Or are they just calling for the sake of it? I think they're just calling for the sake of it. They are behind me. I can't see them. I can just hear them. Quack! Quack! One of those sharp-eyed birds that's always on the lookout for different things like leopards, birds of prey, anything that they might consider a threat. They're known as the go-away bird because their alarm call sounds like they're saying, go away. Go away. Shame, poor Tax is struggling there with his guests. I really feel for him. But there's nothing I can do to offer him any comfort. Whee! Right, sorry, so in terms of her leopard cubs they're a lot safer than they were when they were first born, a lot less vulnerable. They've perfected their tree climbing skills. At this age, hyenas and wild dogs, which would have been a big threat to them when they were much younger and slower, with slower reflexes, are now barely a threat, unless they really make a mistake or really aren't paying attention. Chances are they'll be able to shoot up a tree long before a leopard or a hyena or a wild dog would even think of getting to them. So it's a good question. They are a lot more robust, they're a lot more agile, and they've learnt. I'm sure there've been a few narrow misses in their lives, probably stories we don't even want to know about, that they have endured, and they're getting to the point. And I also think that Karula's very good at picking spots where they will be absolutely safe. She does do a marvelous job. Have you got a visual there, Mfo? I'm sorry. I went in a little bit further to the east, but I don't know if it's going to make life any better. This fruit chafer, sorry, is so determined to climb into my shoe. Where's it gone now? I want to get it off the bottom of the car. They keep climbing into the gap in between my sandals, and it's really terribly uncomfortable. While we wait for Karula to decide to pop out. Where are you? Come here. Thought it was a fruit chafer. Here we go. That's what's been crawling in my shoe the whole time. It's decided to play dead now that I've grabbed it. Oh, there it goes. Yes, you can fly. Why do you need to keep attaching yourself to the soles of my shoe? There you go, Viam, is yours now.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Where did it go? Silly thing. Yeah, those are the beetles that we've been overrun by over the last few days. Ah, they've finally managed to see her. I can hear the guests going, yay, we can see her. Shame. I know that they're really desperate to see leopard. I feel so guilty. I don't know why. It's not my fault. I didn't choose where she is. A lovely message coming through from Gracie. Gracie, thank you so much for telling me, because if you hadn't, I would never have known. And Gracie is 9 years old and would like me to say happy birthday to Nurse Angie. who is very, very special to Gracie, and Gracie's very pleased that this very special cat, the very special Queen of Juma, decided to come and visit Nurse Angie for her birthday. So happy birthday, Angie, and thank you for all of the wonderful things that you do. You are very much appreciated. I hope that you do have a truly wonderful day, and I'm glad that you could share it with a sighting, or that we could share a sighting of Karula for your birthday. I hope you're having a really very special day. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. Come this way, girl. Awesome. There we go. And she's up. And she's down again. Okay, let us reposition. Go and watch her munch away on the bushbuck kill. So while we reposition, let's head across to Tayla to find out what she's been up to and what her plans are for this afternoon.
I'm back, and you should hear me loud and clearly unless I stumble upon my words. Now, I found another giraffe, everybody. I haven't managed to find any elephants as of yet, but I think the wind has sort of sent them into the drainage line or behind some very thick bushes. But we found a big male giraffe, or well, it looks like a big male giraffe. I suppose I shouldn't get too excited just yet before I misidentify it. But he's just coming up around the corner. He's actually near the dam cam, everybody. Maybe you can see him. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I'm not sure. He's in the distance. But that's where we're going. Now we're going over the bridge of death. And this road over here, you wouldn't want to drive when you've had any sort of rain. And you also want to make sure that you keep your eyes focused on the road. Otherwise you could veer off the side. It's quite steep. And I don't know if Rusty is capable of withstanding something like that. So we'll just concentrate through this little piece over here. Now we've got to find that tall creature. Oh, very bumpy, everyone. But we're getting there slowly. We're not far now. There you are, I can see you. Don't think you can see him yet. He looks very much like a tree. There's the impala that's just jumped across the way. Another impala. Bye-bye. There's our giraffe, everybody. Woo. Squeaky brakes. Can you see the giraffe? We're going to zoom in now. There it is. It's a headless, it's a bodiless giraffe, everybody. It's one of those mechanical ones. Oh, I think he heard me say that. No, I'm just joking. You have got 4 legs. It's quite a funny shot. And I think I've said this before, but I'm going to repeat it because it's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. And that's the translation of the Shangaan or Zulu word for giraffe, which is Dlamiti. And that means horse with its head above the trees. And I think that's a perfect screen capture, everybody. And he's munching away. He doesn't look like he's doing too much feeding. He seems to be ruminating currently. Wonderful. There's a little oxpecker sitting on top of his head. Oh, by the way, everybody, I believe that if you were watching the show, you saw a yellow-billed oxpecker this morning. How exciting was that? Quite amazing, I think. I haven't seen one in ages, and we were actually chatting about, someone asked a question, I forget who, and I apologize, as how often do we see the yellow-billed oxpeckers, or when last did we see one? So that was very nice to see on that buffalo. However, these are just plain old red-billed oxpeckers. Now, when I was in the Eastern Cape, and obviously I can only talk about my past because of the places that I've been, the places that I've worked, to see a red-billed oxpecker, we were oh so excited. It was Christmas for us. Unfortunately, they were eradicated in that area from a pesticide that they were using. But they managed to reintroduce them, but it took about 8 years before we started seeing them again. But it was nice that they managed to bring the populations back. They actually got the populations from the Kruger National Park area. Right on our doorstep, everybody. Remember, this is a live safari. Now we're seeing this big male standing here all on his lonesome. and I know Kathy would like to know this afternoon, are giraffe always on their own? Typically, you will see bulls roaming by themselves unless they've perhaps found a herd. And sorry if I'm going to sneeze, it's coming on. Shoo! Excuse me, and thank you for saying bless you, everybody. Sorry, apologies, everybody. But when nature calls for a sneeze, you can't hold the sneezes in. It's not good for you. So sorry, Kathy. Now, something quite special about a giraffe social structures. It's a very poor social structure. They call it temporary associations. And that typically means that there's no permanent bonding between the different members that you could see in a herd. So it's a very loose herd. One day there may be 10 together, the next day they could all go on their separate ways. It's quite common though to see, occasionally see females together with their calves. But normally we just see one or two scattered out. We did see a few heads this morning in the far distance. We saw about 5 or 6 heads, so that was quite nice. And maybe they've come through. There seems to be a lot of giraffe around. We already saw mom and calf earlier today. And now we've got a male. So maybe we'll get a group. Maybe we'll get a herd of giraffe as well this afternoon. I think he swallowed. There we go. You just saw that ball of cud being regurgitated into his mouth. And now he's going to carry on chewing. I wonder if he's perhaps going to go for a drink a little bit later. So it'd be a good idea to keep an eye out on the dam cam and let us know if he does go towards the water, so we can come around and have 2 views, a bum view and hopefully a frontal view too. Right, everybody, I'm going to see what else I can find, maybe those elephants, but I believe Karula's made an appearance again.
She has indeed made an appearance, and what a beautiful shot this is. Hidden underneath what looks like an old fallen jackalberry, there you can see she has her bushbuck kill, and she has finally had a chance to tuck in. I'm really hoping once she's eaten a little bit more, perhaps she'll even call out the cubs, get them to come and join her. Either way, the prospects for this afternoon have definitely improved. And when she stood up, she wasn't nearly as full as I thought she was. I actually don't think she's had that much of a chance to feed. What we've noticed with Karula, and with a lot of female leopards, to be fair, is once they do catch something, they nibble it a little bit, and then immediately go and fetch their cubs and let their cubs feed. There's that generosity and selflessness that embodies most of the mammal mothers out here. So she's probably let her cubs tuck in first, and it's only now that she's actually really getting a chance to have a proper meal, because she didn't look that full. Now, I'm going to be speaking very, very softly, because some of the guests are right here, some of our viewers. Now, Rose, you were wondering, when it comes time for Karula to no longer be able to have cubs, will she stay in her territory? So as Karula gets older and older, and as far as I know, one of the latest wild leopard birth ages was around 16, so she's still got a couple of years to go before she stops having cubs. But what will generally happen is, yes, she'll maintain a territory, but it'll probably get smaller and smaller and smaller. So as you know, female leopards actually do give off bits of their territories to their daughters, sort of. It's an oversimplification, but that's what they do. Well, Karula had one of the largest territories in the Sabi Sand for a female leopard. An absolutely massive territory. We've noticed, oh, look at that. Showing her teeth a little bit. She was snarling at a fly or something. Don't know what that was about. She's cross. Full and bad-tempered. So Karula's territory will shrink a little bit as she goes along. And you'll probably find that as she reaches the end of her life... Ooh... something's really upset her. her warning snarl. She's snarling at one of the other vehicles. She's not snarling at us. We're quite settled quite far away, but she is just giving one of the other vehicles a little bit of a rev, which is interesting. It just goes to show, because they're not close to her, they're not overly close to her at all, it just goes to show that I think we made the right decision in not trying to move to where we could have got a better visual of her before. Something's put her in a little bit of a mood, and it's important to remember that these are wild animals, and sometimes they have good days and sometimes they have bad days, just like human beings. You never take anything for granted. So she's done that to me once before, and I had absolutely no idea what had happened or what had gone wrong, and I still to this day don't know what had upset her. But she just decided actually she wasn't in the mood for us. As you can see, she's settled down now. She's pulled the carcass around. She's actually pulled it closer to the vehicle. The Karula family lineage, from Karula to Tandi to Nkuhuma, they're known for the odd snarl every now and again. Now, David, you're wondering how come it is that Xongile and Hosana don't eat with their mother. And the answer to that is they do occasionally, but what will generally happen is with leopards, they all take turns to feed. Her kills have been relatively small recently, so she hasn't had that massive amount to feed, or they've been in a tree, which has meant that there's only really space for one at a time. As to why they're not here right now, well, I think that she just stood back and let them feed first. Maybe just in terms of space and getting into that area, it was just that little bit easier. There we go. Just relax her a little bit. Ears are still a little bit back. Glancing back at the vehicle every now and again. I wonder where her cubs are. It's interesting. One of those true Karula family moments where she chose to snarl at the vehicle and then moved the carcass closer to them. Just, I guess it was almost like she was saying, I'm coming here. Don't get in my way. And I think what we plan on doing this afternoon is playing a little bit of the patience game. I'm hoping her cubs are going to make an appearance at some point. Now, Shamsun's been doing the same thing I've been doing, which is having a good look around, because Shamsun wants to know if there's a good tree for Karula to hoist her kill into. And the answer is, yeah, there's quite a few, actually. She'd probably pick one of these ones. This one looks to be like it might be one of the best, although it's still a little bit of a distance from where she is. But it's amazing the trees that the leopards choose to hoist their kills into. Sometimes they are ridiculously placed. They look like the most inappropriate tree they could have chosen, and right next to them there's a perfect marula tree or something similar. And then they've gone and chosen a skinny bush willow. So there's plenty of trees for her to put her carcass into. I think, though, to be honest, the place that she's in oh, excuse me. The place that she's in may actually be almost as good as having hoisted it. Ooh. So that's one of the big reasons, or one of the big differences between a cheetah and leopard. To go back to that question, we spoke about the stockiness and the strength. There we can actually see the rosettes that I was talking about with the spots on the back. So it doesn't form a single solid dot. Instead, you sort of get them patterned in circles, and that you won't see on a cheetah. And there's also, to tie it back in with a question from Shamsun, cheetah do not hoist their kills into trees. In fact, they very rarely stick around for very long when they're feeding off a kill. So they'll eat very, very quickly, they'll gorge themselves throughout the day, and then they will immediately move back and move off. And that's because they sit at the bottom of the predator hierarchy. And they generally don't feel safe sticking around kills, particularly at night. One of the biggest scavengers out here is a male lion, and male lions are probably one of the biggest threats that face cheetah out here, and lions in general. See, she's using that carnassial shear to get right into the meat. And as Karula gives one big gulp, let's head across to Tayla and something very large.
So we've got some elephants. We finally managed to find them. We actually just stumbled across them. Their footprints were going up and down, north, south, east and west, and I couldn't really establish a direction. It seems that they were just feeding in circles this afternoon. However, we have found some. I'm not sure just yet if it's the same herd. The moment I can see 2 elephants, and then the others I think are in the thicket still. As you can see, they're enjoying walking through this thick bush. But perhaps we're going to be patient this afternoon and they're going to come out for us. Here comes he. This one seems to be coming towards us. It's a little bit far away though. You can definitely hear the others. Let me try and reverse. Should we try and reverse and get this little calf? Let's try that. There's a young calf, not too young, a few years old. It's just poking its head out. So maybe we'll get a better shot. They're hiding for the moment, everybody. We're going to have to be patient and wait for them to come out. But they're here, which is fantastic because that's what we were looking for this afternoon. Okay, everybody, I'm just pulling my hat down again. Can I draw your attention very quickly, Darby, on that knob thorn? Is it a squirrel on the edge? Can you see there's a little branch that's poking out? There we go. Sorry everybody, I just noticed that little squirrel over there. Hello. No, it's like it's been spotted. So I'm taking my attention away from the elephants very quickly, but it's not often that we get to see a squirrel that doesn't know it's been spotted. See, now it's carrying on with its very normal behavior of dangling from a tree. Where are you going? What are you looking for? Perhaps looking for something to eat? Let's see if it's going to go down onto the ground. And what we've been seeing lately is, because there isn't a lot of food around, we've been seeing the squirrels trying to find where they've stashed away some seeds. So for instance, like the marula pips, the marula seeds, where they either bury them underground or store them in a little crevice on a tree and actually feeding on them. Lovely little tree squirrel. I'm wondering if it's worked out that it's been spotted yet, but I don't think so. I think it's listening to us. It's amazing how they can also move around on a tree without falling off. I don't think I could do that. These little claws that hook on. What are you doing? You're scratching your belly. Doing something very interesting. And it's gone now. Right, enough of the squirrel. Let's go back to our elephant who's coming out. There it is. Hello, little one. Just flapping the ears. You can see on its back, can you see all the sand that it's thrown on top of itself? Obviously been having a little bit of a dust bath. And there's also a few little puddles around here. So we may see them going and wallowing in a little pool of mud a bit later. That's what I'm hoping for as the sun goes down. Little ones eating all that nice green grass that's coming through. It's now nice and long. Look there. See, perfect length for a little trunk to wrap around those lovely green grass shoots. Now remember everybody, we are live and you are welcome to have conversations with myself or Jamie or ask us questions. You can either hashtag Safari Live or send us questions at wildearth.tv. Now you can see that this elephant over here has definitely got a taste for the new green grass that's coming through and really not eating anything else. It's going for all the nice long bits that are growing underneath the trees. Because I think the ones that are out in the open, the things like the impala and all the other lovely creatures have already got to have sort of nipped them down, that they're a bit short for this elephant's trunk to wrap around. So very clever that it's thought, oh well, I'll just go for the grass under the trees where everybody else skips. Now I hope everybody's still been keeping their fingers crossed and doing their own. Very quickly, and then we'll have the same issue that we had last year, where we had rain at this time. We had rain in September last year, and we didn't receive rain again until February, and it was horribly dry. The animals were suffering. It is nature though, this type of thing does happen. Remember, it's good for controlling the population, so don't think that it's always a bad thing. However, I think the animals now deserve a break. They've hung on, and they've been rewarded with a little bit of grass. You see there how that little one now struggles to... No, it's not eating grass. It looks like it's pulling a little shrub up. But you'll see it just now. It will try and take some of the shorter grass, and it struggles. Yes, use your foot, dig. You have to dig it out a bit first. A little bit more. It's obviously got a bit of a deep root system. No, you've just lost all your lovely leaves as well. I suppose you're going to go for the root. No, having a dust bath now changes his mind. You just sort of pretended that that's actually what he wasn't even going for. I was going for the loose soil. Maybe he knows he's on camera. He's got quite shy. Don't worry, we're not laughing at you. Beautiful. I just think it's amazing how coordinated they are. The way that they are able to keep moving their feet and moving their trunks around, flapping their ears. They're doing some serious multitasking. I'm going to try and find the rest of this herd. Let's go back to Jamie and see how Karula the Queen is doing.
You've timed that perfectly. She's calling for the cubs. And hopefully we'll get a chance to see where they've been hiding. They clearly are on this side of the drainage line. She's just gone bounding up the side of the wall. And off she goes in search of them. She's making those amazing choof 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 sounds. And hopefully she's calling them to come and have some dinner. We just wait. We might lose settling and waiting for her to return. I don't think she's going to go too far away from that kill. And if she does, then we'll just somehow find a way across here. Although I have to be honest, I'm not sure there is one. What an awesome view. Don't disappear. Bring your cubs this way, girl. Yeah, she's calling. I can can hear them. Waiting eagerly in anticipation. I think we're about to see little bundles of spots coming to run and greet her. There we go, there we go, there we go. Yes! Hello, you. Look how big you've got. Hello, little boy. Look at you. You're starting to look like a real little male. This is Hosana, isn't it? Unless Xongile has really grown enormously. We're starting to see the difference between Xongile and Hosana's size quite significantly. That massive dichotomy between males and females. Oh, look how big he is. I can't believe this. I bet you his feet are nearly the size of Karula's now. Where's your sister? Go fetch your sister. She's even snarling at him. So I think the bad mood is just a bad mood. Where's your sister? Now, of course, Xongile's at the age where she's going to start giving us heart attacks. Because female leopards just in general are more independent than the males are. Which means that they often disappear for slightly longer periods of time. I'm hoping Xongile doesn't do that to us, but that's entirely possible. Look what happened with one of Nkanyeni's cubs. Looking across for his sister. Come on. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, this is actually an amazing view. We don't often get to see them from this angle. Oh, Karula, you're so grumpy. She's even pulling faces at her son. Ah, now he has got a very full belly. Deborah, you wanted to know if her adult cubs will sort of look after her when she gets older, perhaps taken into a home by Shadow and Tundi. And the answer is no, unfortunately not. Her cubs will not look after her. Whenever she sees her daughter, they spend their time growling at each other. Leopards are solitary, and once their cubs are gone, they're gone. They won't fight her. If she happens to encounter one of her sons or daughters, chances are they're going to avoid physical confrontation. They might even push up a bit into her territory, so Shadow's territory might get a bit larger perhaps, or Tundi's. But no, they won't look after her. There are rare cases where mothers have been seen feeding with their older daughters, with their grown-up daughters, but that's not a case of them being looked after. That's just a case of they happened to encounter each other and decided to tolerate each other rather than fight. So no, unfortunately, her daughters or her sons will not be looking after her. Her legacy will live on with them instead. And bear in mind, of course, that her daughters and her sons have got a lot on their plate as well. They've got their own territories to defend, their own offspring to defend. One day, little Hosana here will be the lord of all he surveys. Not quite there just yet, though. I wonder where he's going to end up. Ah, this must be the sister approaching, I'm hoping. He looked up and so did Karula. I'm really hoping that she might be on her way. Herbert did say that he didn't see both cubs, but that doesn't mean that they're not both here. It just meant that as soon as he spotted them on foot, he moved off immediately. Oh, awesome. She doesn't seem too concerned. And ladybugs, I know. Isn't it incredible? And Ladybug has said that she can't believe how big the cubs have got in such a short time. Doesn't it feel like just yesterday when we were looking at them and they were just the tiniest little fuzzballs in the world, and climbing up into the tree with Mom, They were absolutely minuscule before we even knew that there was one boy and one girl. It's amazing, and it's particularly amazing and impressive how fast the young males go. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Tax, go again. Yeah, I can still book out. I'll move for you. No, there's one here, Tax. Let me go back for you. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry, guys. I've just got to... Sorry, guys. I've just got to move back so that Tax's guest can see. FM, Mike, it's difficult to get into. She's up on the top of the Xongile for now, but on the other side, there's no way to get to her. There's probably a good visual for one mover. That's affirmative, and Aubrey's on his way. If you want to make your way in, I'm happy to pull out. Okay, we should sort of be able to see him. There we go, there's little boy. So his growth has been particularly impressive. We have a question about what age the cubs or Karula will start to push the cubs out of her territory. Now, typically the females, Susan, sorry, this was for you, Susan, typically the females will tend to leave their mothers a little bit younger than the males, so it's often around 18, maybe closer to 20 months of age. The young males stick around a bit longer, right up until 2 years old, possibly even older. They'll still hang around in her territory, and sometimes every now and again go and pay a visit to Mom. Well, that's what we'll notice, and that's why I said that Xongile is going to start giving us scary moments, because she's going to start behaving in a more and more independent manner. Whereas Hosana is going to be a mommy's boy for a little bit longer. He's going to have another, how old did I say was 8 months? He's going to have another at least year and a half, maybe just a little bit less with Mom before he leaves her territory. But that being said, if a female leopard does mate early and fall pregnant, then she will quite aggressively push her other cubs away, particularly when she goes to settle in a den site. Hey, little one. And Zaki in Kenya, we're about to lose our view of this little thing. And you say, does the father not have anything to do with the leopard cubs? And the answer is no, he does not. Or it's difficult to say. First of all, we'll never know who the father is until we get the results of the genetic tests that they're going to do on the leopard scat. So there's about 3 different possible dads, if not more. So no, the dad doesn't play a role, except in that he maintains a territory and keeps other strange male leopards out. I'm going to go back to where I was. I think he's feeding. How's our back left tire doing, Vim?
Still there.
Still there. That's good. That's a good start. Standing by. Copy that. Well done, Herbert. I will pass the message on to Tayla. So, Herbert is trying to call Tayla to tell her that he has found the lions. I know that she was a little bit busy earlier, but hopefully we'll have the prospect of leopards and lions. Now she's up. I think she's looking for Xongile. He's gone down into the drainage line itself to feed. Where's the little girl? It feels like such a long time we've had a proper sighting with both of them together. Last time I saw them, they were disappearing because they'd seen or heard some baboons, and Karula was racing away. Where's your little girl? Ah, she's going to come back down. So I didn't properly explain my answer to the males playing a role as fathers, and I apologize for that. I got distracted by trying to find them where they are. So, Zaki, in terms of males playing a role, they have to defend a territory, which means, oh, there we go, thank you, girl. We still enjoy a view of you. They have to defend a territory, and by doing that and regularly patrolling, they make sure that an unrelated... Oh, can you see him there, Viam? Sorry, on the right there was their vehicle in the way. Somebody's tucking into dinner quite voraciously. Practically climbing into it. He's a growing boy. He's got to feed himself up. Like a teenager with a never-ending appetite. So by patrolling, basically what Tingana, let's say Tingana is the father of these cubs, and he's a likely candidate, by patrolling this territory and making sure that, for example, a strange, unrelated male, or even a young male, like Xongile, I hate to say, although he's unlikely to be a threat, you never know, strange things do happen, and the instinct of a male leopard is to kill a cub that he doesn't know in a territory of a female he doesn't recognize. So even by just making the young males a bit scared and unlikely to be too adventurous, then the male leopard does a good job of protecting the cubs. You're not going to believe this. There's another fruit chafer between my toes. Now, Shamsun, we've been watching and talking about the difference between cheetah, leopard, and I suppose in a way lion. And your question is a very, very good one, which is, are there advantages or disadvantages to being solitary or social? Why have some cats evolved to be social as opposed to solitary? Now, one of the big reasons that the cats have evolved to be social, that lions have evolved to be social, is thought to be the fact that they were in competitions with humans, or in competition in an evolutionary sense with humans as the other apex predator, and that the advantage was provided by advantage of numbers. And that's one of the other reasons why it's thought that they overheat so quickly. It's something that's evolved alongside of the competition with humans to make us dominant during the day and lions dominant at night. So each and every social structure has its own advantages. Leopards are much better at being secretive and quiet. They're much smaller, but that means that they stay a lot more subtle and a lot more secret. But you have to admit, I mean, from what we saw, there's trade-offs. One is, if you're a social cat, you have to share your meal. If you're a social cat, you might have to share mating opportunities. But you've got babysitters, and you've got lots of team members to help you bring down something like a buffalo, which of course would be beyond the reach of Karula. The largest thing she might bring down is a small kudu, which would feed her for 3 days, because she doesn't have to share it, but she doesn't have any help. Male cheetah have evolved to be social creatures because it gives them an advantage in terms of defending a territory against other males. But as to why leopards haven't followed that approach, well, it's just a different style. It's why there's such a great sexual dimorphism between the males and the females of leopards, because nature has favored a much, much bigger male. And he is much bigger. He's double the size of the female, The difference between lions and lionesses is not quite that large. It's not a doubling of weight. You can see her teeth are starting to get a little bit yellow with age, starting to be a bit worn. She's still in good condition though. I mean, Karula's, for a female leopard, her life expectancy is a lot longer than a male leopard. And Fricky, lovely to have your question. I just want to check in with Taxon quickly. Bear with me one moment, Fricky, sorry. Tax, have you guys still got visual there, or do you want me to move back again? No sign. Okay, sorry, Fricky. You're saying if leopards are solitary, if Karula has more cubs, will they try and kill, will Hosana and Xongile attempt to kill them? And the answer is no, generally not. That would be a little bit counterproductive to have siblings attempt to kill younger siblings. So nature has evolved in a way that, for the most part, siblings are quite tolerant of each other, up until the point where they really start to come into their own. So we saw one brief moment, or not brief moment actually, one particular sighting where Shimbambalana, who is Karula's son, come on, call your daughter. Don't just call your son, call your daughter too. Shimbambalana and Karula's younger son, Quarantine, met and had a little bit of a standoff. But for the most part, I think somehow they do know that they are related to each other. Just like, well, we know which are our family members and which are not. And they are treated with a bit more tolerance. Seriously tucking in. Look at him using his claws. They've lost their, or at least he's almost lost his baby face, hasn't he? And this is such a special experience, just by the way, because a couple of you will know that a few of our viewers are actually out here on Nkuhuma on safari. So just imagine how happy they are. They're in the sighting with me. Imagine what that feels like. They must be beside themselves to see this. There you go. A question from James Richard about if it's because Xongile is female, or is it just her personality that she always seems to be a little bit more retiring than her brother, and often in these sightings absent. We don't always get to see her as often as we do her brother. James, I don't think it's sex related. I think that, or gender related. I think that it's personality. I really do. And I think leopard siblings have distinctive personalities. I've watched a few grow up, and they always somehow seem to come, and it's not gender specific, seem to come with one bold personality and one slightly shyer personality. And I don't know if it's a product of nature versus nurture. I mean, where the argument falls, I don't know if it's because of experiences they've had, but there always seems to be one of them that is bolder. Now, in terms of their genders, he is bigger and stronger than his sister now. Already that dimorphism between the males and the females making itself known. He probably weighs a good couple of extra kilograms, so she might have decided actually she doesn't want to spend too much time around him, but it might also be that she's more independent, which is gender related. So she's gone for a little bit of a wander. Or she might have come in here, eaten her full, and she's actually she's got a big stomach somewhere, and she doesn't feel like going anywhere. She might just be resting in the shade. Now at this age, both of our little cubs have probably made a kill at some point. But Cindy, oh, hold on. What's up, little one? Tucking back in. But at this age, Cindy, no, they won't be subsidizing their own diet, really. They'll be killing things for fun and for practice, but Karula is responsible for the bulk of their meals. They might every now and again kill a scrub hare or a dwarf mongoose or something, or a squirrel, something along those lines, and they will eat it. But for the most part, that's not really to feed themselves, it's to practice their hunting skills. And if something were to happen to Karula now, her cubs would not survive. If she were to leave them for an extended period of time, her cubs would not survive on their own. They're not yet big enough and old enough to sort themselves out and hunt for themselves. Even at a year, they're not quite ready for that leap. This whole hunting and stalking and catching something takes a bit of practice. It's not as easy as Karula makes it look, which is something that poor Hosana, I imagine, will still have to discover. You're getting so big and strong, little one. Can't believe you're 8 months old already. Tax, are you pulling out or you want to move back? Copy, I'll push you from behind. Hold on, I'll move for you. We just need to reposition so that Tax can pull out of the sighting. The reason I'm chuckling... Well, I'll explain while I'm chuckling in a moment, but for now let's head across to Tayla and find out what she's up to and if she got Herbie's message.
I'm hoping to get to the lions, everybody. Herbert, the #1 tracker in the world, bit bumpy, sorry, managed to find some lions. Now I'm not sure of the composition just yet, sorry about that everybody. I parked on a big bump. And you can see 2 female, yeah, mom and fawn, moving off into the thicket. They don't always seem to want to stay and hang around. You can see, like I said, they're all eating the grass at the moment, even though they're predominantly browsers, so they're just eating leaves. Everybody can't resist saying no to the lovely green grass that's come through. It's better, that I suppose, than eating crispy old dry leaves or leaves that make your mouth bitter. That was a big obstacle that it went over. Could possibly have a career as a show jumping in Yala. Oh, there's another one coming. Hello. There's 3 in Yala now, everyone. The other one is a bit further to the left. A big female. Now you can see that lovely golden sun coming through. Oh, I'm so excited for the sunset tonight. Really wonderful. Let's see who's coming on. Oh, there's lots of Inyala. My goodness, there's a whole lot. They're all going to come past behind you now. We'll just wait for them patiently. We'll let them cross the road behind us, and then we will go to the lions, hopefully. You can see there they come. Going past the infrared light now. And there. Beautiful. Just all crossing the road to get to the other side, where obviously the grass is greener. There we go, everybody. Oh, and a little one darting. That's a beautiful shot, everybody. You can see a little bit of liquid coming from its eyes. Possibly maybe it got a thorn or an irritation or something in its eyes that's causing a sort of excess of fluid. You know what happens when you get a bit of dust or sand in your eye. Your eye tends to water quite a bit. It's the same thing with the animals, just trying to flush whatever foreign object is in the eye out. Lovely, everybody. Now we're going to head and try and get to these lions. So stay with me. Don't go anywhere. We're going to drive into the sun a little bit, but we're not far. So hold on tight. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's not. You won't feel anything. Now, I know, and I was just saying how I think that Herbert is the #1 tracker in the entire world, and I stand by this. So Candy from the Southern Sands, he's pretty good too. He's amazing. But Herbie's just been on form lately. And, sorry, everybody's trying to get hold of me. Hang on, Herbert's trying to get hold of me. Staying by Herbert, I'm approaching Hyena Road now from Central. Sorry everybody, Herbie's looking for me. Sorry, Monique, I know you were wondering, is tracking something that you can learn? Or is it, do you just have it or do you don't, basically? Now, tracking is definitely a skill. And I've told the story before of how a lot of these, the local Xongile gentlemen learn tracking, is that they often have to go out and learn how to track their dad's cows, their father's cows. So they get sent off with a task to go and spend the day out in the fields or wherever it may be in the bush. There's never a fence around the Sabi Sands or Greater Kruger area. And they would obviously never want to stay with cows, and they'd go off and play games and soccer and all sorts of fun things, and then they'd have to make sure they bring all the cows home. And they were never allowed to come home unless they had all the cows. So that's how they're taught from very young boys. So I think it's a bit of both. It's definitely learnt. I've definitely learnt a lot from the trackers that I've worked with over the last few years. But I wish I had been taught it when I was very young. Then I think it's obviously much better. And you'll obviously be a lot better at it. But there's qualifications to become a tracker. You can do a variety of a different track and sign. So it's not a written test like the qualifications to be a ranger or to be a guide is. It's a little bit different. It's all practical. But you can do that in these various levels that you can attain. Now, I'm looking out for Herbie, everybody. And it's very windy. So I'm hoping I'm going to hear his vehicle moving around. I'm also not sure how far along Hyena Road these lions are. But they're somewhere here, and we will get them shortly. Still haven't seen Herbert. Let's see if I can get hold of him and see if he can possibly hear me. Maybe he's not moving around anymore. Herbert, Tayla, when you get my audio, will you just Nkuhuma with me? Sorry, I'm having a good chuckle to myself. And the radio is always interesting.
We are still with our amazing little leopard cub, and we've actually found ourselves with the sighting all to ourselves. Now, we're sorry to have lost Tayla. I think she got cut off in mid-sentence. She is going through a little bit of a tricky signal area. Hopefully she will re-emerge back onto your screens once again at some point relatively shortly. In the meantime, young Hosana is still gorging away at his bushbuck, having a wonderful time. I think you've eaten most of that, mister, with your very round belly. You can see all the carcass flies have gathered around him as well, those green bodies and red heads. Karula's just got up and actually moved off. I can't see her anymore. I'm hoping she might have decided to go and fetch the young madam and decided to bring her for a little bit of a meal as well. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping she hasn't just gone off in search of a better patch of shade, because if she has, there's absolutely no way we're going to get a vehicle up there. Shame. You should have seen poor old Tax trying to get out of the sighting. It was thoroughly entertaining watching poor Terry's face as they navigated around. Anyway, we found ourselves with the sighting all to ourselves. I can't wait. I must actually make a concerted effort while we're here. I'm hoping one of them is going to defecate, one of the cubs, because we haven't managed to collect their scat yet, as far as I know. And I know that Panthera is exceptionally interested in getting hold of that. Well, the reason we're collecting leopard scat might sound like a really bizarre thing to get excited about, but Panthera is conducting a massive paternity study using the DNA that is gathered from the leopard scat. And it's the easiest way, for us at least, to gather DNA. I asked one of them very nicely for a cheek swab, and for some reason they wouldn't let me. As you can imagine, scat is probably the safest and actually least invasive way of collecting the leopard's DNA. And that's why I'm so incredibly excited for the little leopard cub to defecate. It would be very, very nice. And hopefully we're there to witness it, because whilst I will not be able to collect it today, we will be able to come back tomorrow. And if they are not here, which I have a feeling they won't be, then we'll be able to go and collect it. Now, this bushbuck that he's currently tucking into, you can see it's making the effort of getting in beneath the skin is actually pretty intense. The skin of these antelope is exceptionally tough, particularly if you've only got little baby jaws, although he's at least a little bit better off than he was when they were 3 months old. But he's still got to rip and tear a little bit. Hello. I hope you're getting lots of amazing screenshots. He really has changed, hasn't he? Where's your sister? Now, Ellen, in Arkansas, we've been talking about leopards and the relatedness of cubs and how they interact with each other. He wants to know what Karula would do if she came across Shadow's cub all on its own. And the answer is we don't know. There's one recorded case in the wild of a grandmother adopting a grand cub. I can't remember if it was a daughter or a son. I think it was a daughter. So she basically adopted her daughter's cub. She walked away from a shared kill with one extra cub and proceeded to raise it to adulthood, despite the fact that she had 2 cubs of her own and that there was an age difference between the cubs. So that's a very rare and very interesting situation. Shadow, of course, for our new viewers, is Karula's oldest daughter. She did, and I'm hoping it's not past tense, but she did, the last time we saw her, have a cub that's about 1 month younger than Xongile and Hosana. Now, Shadow's gone back into estrus. She's been mating with other males, and we don't know whether the cub is still alive, essentially. And it's starting to look less and less hopeful the more that Shadow is away from that little girl mating. I don't know what what Karula would do with the cub. Probably sniff it and then move away. I don't think her instinct, I think that kind of situation of adoption is rare. I think she'd probably look at it and then move off. She might even hiss and snarl and growl, and the little cub would run away itself. But the truth is, we really don't know. It depends on the circumstances, and it depends on the individual, I think. I wonder if she would even recognize it as Shadow's cub if Shadow wasn't with her. I have no idea. I really don't know. It's nice for us in human terms to think, well, if only Karula had come across the cub and adopted it. But that isn't really how it works out here in the wild. And Shadow's cub, it's a complicated one, because Shadow's cub is competition for these two, but she's still blood. She's still related. Speaking of which, I wonder if we shouldn't go looking for... We can't go very far. I think we'll stick here for now. Better the leopard you can see than the leopard you can't, I think. Good question, Laura. Laura wants to know if we have a spot pattern on Hosana yet. I don't know. I haven't got... I'm terrible. I tend not to memorize the spot patterns of leopards. I like to just look at them. And I find them easy to recognize once you've spent a little bit of time with them. But you are absolutely right in that the official way of recording and recognizing leopards in terms of the scientific method is to look at their spot patterns. I like looking at noticeable marks, rather, on the coat, like Karula's wow, for example, on her forehead. But let's have a look and see if we can get Hosana's spot pattern while we sit here. So the spot pattern is the top row of spots, of the whisker spots. And it is from right to left, the animal's right to the animal's left, so our left to our right when we're looking at him like this through the camera. And unfortunately, in order to count, I think it looks like a 3 on the top there. We need you to shift your face, mister. Looks like a 3 on his left-hand side. Now we just need a right. So essentially what it's written as is 4-3 or 4-4 or 2-3 or 3-2, and then often accompanied by the area that the leopard is found in, and that's often the official way of referring to leopards. It's like he heard us. You want to see my right side? Well, you can't, because I'm a recalcitrant teenager, and I don't want to show you. Oh, yes, I do. It looks like a 3-3. I didn't see that properly, though. I wonder if any of you out there who have got screenshots of Hosana... Oh, there we go. Erlene says it's a 3-3. So there we go. It is a 3-3. I thought that's what I was seeing, but it's a bit difficult when the face is contorted, chewing on a carcass like that. But it's a 3-3. He's got a 3-3 spot pattern. Interested to know what Xongile is, just out of curiosity. I'm interested to know where Xongile is, out of curiosity. But for now, her brother is enjoying his feast all to himself. Come on, Xongile. You better come before your brother finishes everything. You're a growing girl too. I must actually ask Herbert when there's a gap on the Game Drive channel. I must actually ask Herbert if there were sets of 2 cubs or just 1. As I said, that's not a reason to panic. She's a young female, she's getting older, showing a little bit of signs of independence. Can hear Aubrey making his way as well into the sighting, so we will at some point have to... Well, I can't actually tell if that's Aubrey making his way in or Taxon still trying to get out at this point. Those bright shining eyes. He's really tucking in. VM, I hope this isn't our friend from the DRC. There's a couple of bushbuck that live outside the DRC that we've got very used to seeing and quite attached to. I'm hoping that this isn't one of them. Well, we're quite far north, but it's in that same general area. Not too far from home. I'm hoping it's not one of our bushbuck friends. We get to see them every morning out of the window. Okay. I know that Tayla is responding to a sighting. Unfortunately, she's still having problems with signal. So let's reposition and just see if we can't see Karula and what she's up to on the top of the drainage line. If she's still visible, of course. I'll come back to him if she's not. It's alright, Wendy. It's okay. Ah. Queen has gone. She's probably gone to find her daughter. They're probably just there. No, she has vanished. Now, Karen, while we get back to little Hosana and his bushbuck meal, you want to know how far back Karula's lineage has been tracked and how many litters of cubs she's had. Let's start with the first question. The second question first, sorry. So essentially, she has had in her oldest twins, Shadow and Tundi, and we still get to see Shadow, and we occasionally get to see Tundi. Then, if I'm not mistaken, was it... there we go. Here comes Aubrey. Mishu and Induna, then Shinvinzi and Shaluva. No, not Shinvinzi and Shaluva. Shinvinzi and Shimbambalana. And then it was Quarantine and Nkuhuma, and now Hosana and Xongile. So 5 successful litters. She's had more in her life, but not all of them have been successful. We know of at least one that didn't make it to adulthood. But for a female leopard, that is an incredible success rate. She's been an amazing mother. We'll get back to your question and answer it more fully when we return back to these leopard cubs. But for now, Tayla's got something so exciting because Herbert has done it once again.
We've got the lions. Look at these lovely little cubs, and it was perfect timing. I must say a big thank you to Herbert, everybody. He did an outstanding job. And we got you at the right time, because he said that they were hiding away. And I don't know if it was all the activity with the vehicle, but now they are thirsty. And look at them having a drink. Remember to take screenshots, everybody. To see 4 little lion cubs lined up like this is something quite special. So you don't see something like that all the time. You don't really often get to have an opportunity like this. So take away. Now, this morning, I know that Brent saw one of the female lionesses, I think it was that young female, covered in blood. And apparently they killed a buffalo, but they seem to be back here. So I'm not sure if the killer's down here or what the story is. So we're going to have to do a bit of investigating when these little ones move off. We're going to have to follow them back to where they've come from. But very nice that they've popped out to have a little drink. Look at them looking up every now and then. Isn't that amazing? Very special, everybody. And they're looking lovely and healthy, all these cubs, which is good. Well, they've seen something. You can see them, one looking up. What have you seen? Just looking over my shoulders just to see if I can see what they can, but their eyesight is much better than ours. Maybe it's just an antelope moving in the distance. But very thirsty cats, so possibly they've had a good feed. But it's been nice and hot. And now they've all come for a little drink. Lovely. That's beautiful. Look at that lovely golden sun just coming through and catching the glistening on their eyes. Wow. And they're getting quite cheeky, these little cubs as well, especially the older 2. Oh, little groom as well. As we've seen them showing quite a bit of curiosity to the vehicles, so we're going to have to watch them and make sure that they don't get too close and hopefully they learn that they need to respect us and not come and bother us. We just view them from in here and they should just view us from down on the ground. Oh, isn't that a nice sibling? A little groom, a little drink of water. And the others are obviously still sleeping somewhere. We haven't seen the adults just yet, but I think they're down in the thicket. And you can see they're getting very curious now. Like I said, they're getting to that age where they think they can start wandering off, but they're still very vulnerable to predators, so they better be careful. They better not stray too far away from the adults. Oh, we're going to have a little break. One's not done yet. Oh no, I'm going to wrestle you. Please push that one in the water. Yes, in you go. In you go. Throw your sibling in. No. Good tactic. Just do a circle and loop around. I don't know how pleased that little cat would have been if it got thrown in the water. I imagine quite sad. Oh! See the one in front? You see it's seen the turtle dove on the other side of the mud wallow. Look there. Look, you see? That's amazing. There we go. There's the first little hunting instinct that I've seen of the Nkuhumas. Because there have been many a times where we've seen the crested francolins coming through and they've done nothing. And that little one made the first move, actually went and attempted to stalk that bird. But I think a turtle dove is a bit quick for you, I'm afraid. But good job. You can only improve from there. Now that turtle dove is actually sat up on the dead log. Can you see that stick that's sticking out? Just going go up a bit to the big log to the right, and then go straight up there. There it is. Aha, there is the turtle dove. Sitting there going, I just came here for a drink. Now there's these lion cubs stopping me. Wondering, should I just risk it? Should I go to the other side? Should I go down? Very confused little turtle dove. You're going to have to sit up there, I'm afraid, because our 4 lion cubs that we are watching of the Nkuhumas have found this to be quite a nice spot to just stare into the distance. Now you can see there's definitely one troublemaker. The one that's laying down facing the opposite direction is definitely the ringleader and is the instigator. What a beautiful afternoon, everybody. It's turned out to be a fantastic day. The sun is also just starting to drop. Oh, there's lots of turtle doves coming in and they're all flying past very quickly. Sort of seeing that unfortunately they can't drink any water. Here comes some more. We're watching these little cubs grow up quite quickly. As we watch this turtle dove make a brave move towards one of the mud wallows, the other one just flew down. That's very risky. And I know Thomas is wondering this afternoon if the young lioness of the Nkuhumas that we've been seeing mating with Birmingham number 4, are those cubs going to run the risk of being roughhoused by these older cubs? Of course they are, Thomas. However, Mom is going to keep a close eye on them. And you often see a few sort of fights that go on in and amongst the pride, especially when you see the introduction of new cubs. The older ones are quite keen and quite curious. Look at us stalking the turtle dove. Let's see how close they're going to get. I'm not going to move the vehicle, everybody. I'm just going to sit very still. So, Thomas, I hope that answers your question. But yes, they are, but Mom is going to keep a close eye on them. Now, this is quite hysterical, actually. It's almost like they seem as though they're pretending to pay no attention to those doves. They sit, oh no, I'm just coming over here to drink some water and have a look here. They haven't quite learned the art of stalking just yet. Come on, run after it. Let's see how quick you are. Close? No, too slow. But it's nice to see that instinct coming through, everybody. Very, very nice. And hopefully, like I said, next time we see the very brave crested francolins, hopefully they will come through and maybe we see one of these little ones catching their first bird. That'll be very exciting, a very important learning curve for them too. There's another vehicle coming down the road and they're just going to see a wall of little cubs watching them. Now, it's very difficult for us to maneuver, everybody. We've got big trees around us. And that involves moving the aerial quite a bit. And I don't want you to lose us. So we're just going to sit here and hold our position. Just for a little bit. I suspect they're going to come back. They won't be gone for too long. Good afternoon, Sally. Sally, don't panic too much. These little lions are on a little bit of a walkabout. However, Herbert said that the entire pride seems to be in here. He said he only was able to see one male. We haven't been able to see the adults yet, but I suspect that these little cubs are not more than about 50 meters away from the adults. So, as much as they like to go on little walkabouts, they also know that if they stay away from mom for too long, they're not going to have anyone to protect them. But maybe they look like they're on their way back. The others seem to be coming back now. The unsuccessful hunting mission of the turtle doves. But they're coming back towards us. We'll see them. They're popping through the thicket now. Now, hopefully they're going to lead us into not too thick vegetation. Yes, come back to the water. And hopefully we'll be able to see the rest of the pride. But I suspect the others are most likely sleeping. Very nice. Little one's found a bit of elephant dung to keep it company. Amazing. You can hear lots of turtle doves, I'm sure, calling in the distance. They're all hanging around. This is obviously the local turtle dove watering hole. And, oh, there we go, practicing stalking. Oh, look at them. They're getting so much better as well. It's like the muscles are all strengthening. They're able to creep for longer, stay down for longer. Still doesn't know, sibling doesn't know that this one is there. What are you going to do? Oh my goodness, still nothing. No, surely you... Ah, that wasn't a very good attempt. This one looks like it's been watching the adults too closely. No, just going to play and push my other sibling over. They're very curious this afternoon. And I must say, I've been quite lucky with the Nkuhumas. They've been very active. So Liz, you have obviously been watching for quite a while because you've answered your own question spot on. So Liz says that she's noticed that the lions have white underneath their eyes. You can see that very nicely. And yes, Liz, in fact, that is indeed to help reflect light back into their eyes, to help them see better at night. So any starlight, any moonlight, that is going to definitely help them. Now, please push your sibling in. This is too beautiful, everybody, this scene. Coming in for another drink. My thirsty little cats. I don't even know what to say. It's just so beautiful just sitting here watching them. I'm going to just sit quietly. Remember, take some screenshots, everybody. This is very special to see all of them with their heads down. And have a look at the one at the back. It's stalking. You've just got to raise a little bit. Look at this. This could be quite funny, everybody. Because maybe this one actually gives one of these little cubs a fright, and then they bounce into. Who are you going to choose? No. Contender on the left has seen you. No. Not going to stalk anybody anymore. Remember, everybody, we are on a live African safari, so you're watching these adorable cubs happening right now. So if you'd like to interact with myself or Jamie this afternoon, you're welcome to either hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or you can send in an email, questions@wildearth.tv. Remember, if you are taking any screen captures or any screenshots of what's going on, please remember to hashtag Safari Live so we can all have a look at your wonderful pictures a bit later. Oh, they're learning. Oh, be careful you don't bite your, what are you, little girl, and looks like a little boy. Let's see. No, both boys. 2 boys playing with each other, roughhousing each other quite nicely, and practicing that spinal bite. Remember, we saw that quite nicely the other evening when the Nkuhumas brought down that buffalo, and we were able to witness that, how they would jump on the backs and try and gnaw on the spine. We're practicing that very well. Oh, there we go. You're very clever. You found the cool mud to sit in. Well, unlike the elephants, the lions don't really like to get too wet and cover themselves in mud. However, when they do find a patch of hard mud that's slightly damp, it does help relieve them and help cool them down quite nicely. Now these guys have got fat bellies. So I wonder if that killer's maybe not on our property. Now they're just going to roll around and play with each other. I think the cubs are most entertaining once they get past sort of 4 months, because they've got a bit of strength, bit of power to their punches. Whoa, pow, pow, pow. Look at that, like a boxer. Fast as lightning. Not quite fast just yet. Oh, look at that, very upset. Hey, why didn't you pick on somebody your own size? Now I've got a stick to play with, lots of sticks. Let's see who's going to take it off that one. Like a proud puppy. Look what I've got. Oh, that one's a bit big, I'm afraid. I don't think you can get that one. That little one on the left is being ambitious. But now they all seem to be very slowly stalking the one that has got the big stick. So I think we're going to reposition very quickly, everybody. I want to go much further forward. There's another opening and just get ahead of them. So I'm going to jolt a little bit. Everybody, oh, hang on. Are you going to do a big leap? No, come on. Not too keen on the pounce. Not like the leopards. Leopards do a lot more pouncing than lions. Look at that, all the bums in the air rolling upside down. It seems like it's the boys that have come here. So far I've only seen males. But we'll have a look nicely. It's quite difficult to tell who's male, who's female at this stage. Yes, I think let's reposition quickly, everybody. Go a little bit further forward just so we can squeeze another vehicle in here, so we can all have an equal opportunity to view these amazing little cats. And I think we're going to get another little clear gap just up ahead, and then hopefully we'll be able to see where these adults are. Just looking, everybody. Excuse me for being quiet. Oh no, it's okay. I don't like too many vehicles moving, so we'll stop. Oh, they're chasing each other now. They're all grabbing onto one end. Can't see any of the adults. They're going down into the drainage. Please don't go too far, because I don't think we're going to be able to get down there. Let's just see where they go, and then we'll try and reposition once they've headed on a little bit further. And they're quite sensitive to when you drive over some of the branches. They do tend to get a little bit of a fright. Still getting used to the vehicles, but eventually give them another year and they'll be well acquainted with us. But I think this is possibly where the adults are. They've had enough alone time, little adventure away from mom and dad, and now they are slowly making their way back down into the drainage. It'll be quite interesting. It's very thick. Oh, okay. I can see a leg of an adult. Can you see straight through there? I don't know if you can. If you maybe go to the right. Yeah, and then go up a little bit. Go straight. See there? There you can just see the twitching. That is a lion, everybody. That looks like an adult lion. Now I'm not sure if it's a male or a female. cannot tell right now. But we will try and go forward, but it's very thick. Now, wants to know how long does it take for a lion to grow a mane. Now, only the males get manes, and it takes them quite a few years, Tyler. It's 6 years for them to completely get their full mane. So it starts developing at just a few months of age, and obviously it starts growing a bit of it around the neck or down on the chest, then it slowly starts building up again on the shoulders, and it comes round back of the neck and creeps all over the ears, and then eventually it'll come around and then on the elbows, and that's sort of when the hair on the elbows go nice and black. That's sort of when you know that they've got to about 5 years. But I think we're going to try and reposition. I'm just trying to work out the best plan. I think if I go straight through there and then hit a right, a stern right, we may be able to do it. Let's try it, everybody. So it's not serious bundu bashing, everybody, but there's some small shrubs. Well, I think while I navigate through here, I'm going to make some crazy noises. I think Jamie has managed to get a better view of Hosana.
Oh, dearie me, it seems as though our young little Hosana, just as Tayla sent you across to us, has decided to move. Luckily for us, Karula has made another appearance. Unfortunately, she's also no longer visible. Sorry, I was in the middle of a conversation. I'm just going to finish it off. Copy that, thanks, Orbs. He's trying to advise me as to how we could maybe get onto this side of the drainage line. Karula's there. Can't you tell? She's hidden somewhere. There. I don't know where. And I'm not quite sure where Hosana's gone either now. Let's just hold on one moment before we try and reposition. I'm hoping he might... There he comes. He's going up to Mom. So Aubrey was just giving me advice about how maybe I should try from the lodge and around and across and up. There she is, she's up. Maybe she'll go down and have a little bit of a feed as well. And perhaps we'll be able to get a slightly better view. I'm just trying to have a look at my map as to exactly where we are. I know roughly, but it might be a way of figuring out. Oh, he's going to lie down with Mom. It might be a way of trying to figure out exactly how to get across to that side. Here we go. Okay, well, since we don't have a view for now, let me show you on a map exactly what our predicament is. So, if we have a look here on the map, the dotted blue lines, which you'll be able to see, those are these big, thick drainage lines that we're in at the moment. So we're in one of them here, and we're actually right at the joining of two drainage lines, which is why it's quite thick and steep in here, because it's where water's converged. So the blue dot is us, and obviously the solid lines around it are the road. The lodge is... Hey, hello, thank you. There's where Tayla. Galago sits just here, and Aubrey's been trying to get me to go around and onto this side, which is where Karula is. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that, because this map's not 100% accurate in that we are on this side of the drainage line, not the southern side. So I'm trying to figure out if maybe we could get in from here. Because anywhere else, coming in anywhere else will mean that we get stuck behind one of these drainage lines. But I wonder if we could make an effort to get in through this way. Unfortunately, it is getting a little bit dark for us to make that attempt. But that's just to sort of explain our predicament to you. And you can see it's basically an impassable area. There's drainage line walls absolutely everywhere. Right, so earlier on, while we reposition, and I actually think I know how we can get a view. We might have to look over the guests though, but we'll try it. I think I have a plan. Now, we were discussing Karula's lineage, and she's had, we'll, we don't know exactly whether she lost any of it. She might have lost some when they were very, very young, and we might have been unaware of it. And Kimbo, there's also some of our viewers. Oh, sorry, Viam. I hope you're still on the back there. Aha, this was a good plan, I think. Let me just get out. Let me just let Aubrey get out. So, Kimber, you wanted to know about the lineage. There are some of our viewers that have known and followed the story of Karula, who is now moving. We'll just duck over the heads of the guests enjoying the sighting. You feeling a little bit queasy, Karula? Eating a little bit of grass there. No, she was apparently the daughter of Safari, a leopard with one eye. Along with her brother. What was her brother's name again? I knew a second ago, but all of a sudden it's gone out of my head. She did have a brother, twin brother. So the lineage of the Sabi Sands leopards has been followed since the Sabi Sands started. Because obviously guides, because these leopards are so habituated, spend a lot of time with them. Right, so what Karula's doing is what your pet cats and dogs do whenever they're feeling a little bit under the weather. Perhaps she's eaten something that's disagreed with her. She's just attempting to make herself feel quite ill, or to throw up. That's why she's eating the grass. Look at that round belly. She's definitely eaten her full now. Come on, Karula, get it up. It might even be a little bit of a shard of bone or hoof that might be making her feel a bit uncomfortable. So I actually left the sighting a little bit earlier to go and see, because there was a report that there was a leopard at Galago Pan, and that must have been her. She must have gone for a drink, perhaps to settle her stomach. So she went and had a drink at Galago Pan and then made it all the way back here, much faster than I could do it in the vehicle. Of course, I had to go round. She could just go through. At least it's nice green grass for you to eat, girl, after the rain we've had. I'm just trying to see which way she's going to go, or if she's just going to stay here and keep eating the grass. At times like these, I wish it was possible to have X-ray vision to see where her other cub is. I am talking softly, by the way, just because we are next to one other vehicle and the guests are very, very close, so I don't want to ruin their experience by talking too loudly. You can see her fur twitching from the flies. Tiny little muscle contractions just as flies land on her fur and irritate her fur. And only recently with that Birmingham boy, we've really got an idea of actually just how much harm a fly in the wrong spot can really truly do. When they laid it, oh, bless you, girl. Bless you. Oh, are you going to get it up? There we go. Here we go. No, still not quite there. Can't tell if she's sneezing or retching. Trying to bring up a hairball combination. I think the grass might be doing its job. She's definitely not looking terribly comfortable. I wonder if she managed there to get it up. Okay. She seems, I think she might have, oh no, she hasn't. I thought she might have succeeded in getting whatever she wanted to get out. Bye, guys. Now, Jackie J, wondering, talking of lineages, and please, if one of our leopard experts could remind me what Karula's brother is called, because I can't remember. Jackie J was saying, you're hearing of lots of mixed litters. Is it more common than same-sex litters, so twins of the same sex? I'd say it's pretty even. I'm just trying to think if there's some mathematics behind if a boy and a girl would be more likely than a girl and a girl or a boy and a boy. And I don't think so. I think it's just 50-50. Karula's had 2 girls, 1 boy and girl, 2 boys, and now a boy and a girl. So that's almost an even split. I mean, it's 3 to 5, a ratio, in terms of same sex versus different sexes in the litter. And bear in mind, some leopards don't just have 2. They can have up to 3 or 4, although the usual number is 2. Every now and again you even get more than that. The most I've ever seen in the wild is 3. They are capable of having 4. Don't disappear, girl. I wonder where her little boy has gone. Oh, there he is. Well done, Vim. I couldn't see him at all. Oh, so agile. See? Completely coordinated and controlled. Eating up with Mum. I wonder if she's in a slightly better mood. No wonder she was feeling so grumpy. I know when I get nauseous, I don't feel particularly enamored with any company. And perhaps that's why she was even baring her teeth at her son earlier. She's definitely not feeling herself. Oh. I think she succeeded. Okay, thanks very much to Karen, who sent through the info on Karula's litter mate. It was a girl. I knew she had a brother. I don't know why I thought it was she came from a mixed litter. So Karula's litter mate was a female called Tembe, who apparently very sadly was killed by lions. So thank you for that, Karen. And her younger brother was called Matimba, also known as the Felton's Tom, or the Felton's Bale. So there we go. Thank you very much, Karen. I did know that. I don't know why it suddenly went out of my head. I think I've been keeping track of too many different animals. Too many things going on in my head. I'm going to eat a nachi instead. Let us try and reposition and see if we can't get a slightly better view. I think this might be it though, for us, unfortunately, with this Karula sighting. Oh! I don't want to drive up too close to the carcass to get a good view, just because we've already determined that Karula's in a not very happy mood. Not possible, I don't think. Let's just see if she's going to come back down. Oh, there goes little boy. He's bounding about, perhaps in a playful mood. Go and fetch your sister, mister. We would very much like to see her as well. can't possibly be coming back down for more. You're so full, you look like you're going to burst. Huh. And just like that, I think our leopard sighting is over. I think they're probably going to go and lie down there. Oh no, there we go. There's some spots through some trees. I think she's going to move further off and then she's going to go and lie down. But for now, she's still grass eating. Obviously, she hasn't succeeded in getting whatever's bothering her out of her system. Now, all of our big cats do it. And hyenas, and wild dogs. It's standard across the predator board. And your pet dogs and cats at home will do it as well. Now, she could have a combination of perhaps a hairball from both herself and from the kill, since leopards will often sit and lick, and lions will lick the kill for a while to just strip away the hair before they start to feed. And a lot of that hair does go down. Or it could be a piece of bone or a piece of hoof, something that she got a little bit over-ambitious about. Oh. I wish we could see whether or not she's had any relief, or whether she's still trying. It's actually relatively common to come upon predator vomit, or a predator hairball. It usually has little bits of bone or little bits of hoof in it. And the odd, I hate to say it, not to be gross about puke, or vomit, but it also often has internal parasites, things like tapeworm in it. I've often come across lion vomit before, full of tapeworm. Now, they are parasite-ridden creatures. Sorry. I'm usually quite good at dealing with it, but I did have a good chuckle there. Rebecca, I'm going to throw you under the bus. Occasionally, because our directors use 2 radios, they're constantly talking to both of us. And occasionally, every now and again, we get a message intended for the other person. So, Bex, I'll pass on your message to Tayla, no problem. It is just the odd moment where you get some random communications. I mean, every now and again we get, I'll be talking about Karula vomiting and I'll hear something like, Jamie's talking about Karula vomiting and hairballs. When she raps, I'd like to link to you. And you think, I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and speaking of Karula and her vomiting, I hope she is successful. Unfortunately, I do think this is pretty much the end. This isn't the best view of Karula we've ever had, and she is slowly moving off into some very dense vegetation. As I have many times said, it's going to be impossible for us to follow her. So sorry about that, everybody. I'm going to have to leave for now. Hopefully, there's a slim chance they're going to be here tomorrow, but hopefully with those enormous bellies, they're not going to move too far away. And with Herbie's standard determination, I have no doubt that we'll be able to catch up with them again on the sunrise safari. Hopefully, not here, to be 100% honest, because it's quite a tricky spot. And there's quite a considerable trip off-road. Right, I'm going to try and get us out of here, so I'll see you tomorrow for the sunrise safari. No, I'm joking. I'm going to try and get us out of here. In the meantime, let's head across to Tayla.
We managed to find the adults, and they eventually came out for us. However, not all of them. There are still 2 more females that I could see that are lurking at the back. Actually, there could be a 3rd one there too. And one of the Birmingham's is definitely here. We don't have sight of him at the moment, but I'll be able to show you him a little bit later. Now, they came back to those same puddles, those little mud wallows that have filled up over the last bit of rain we had in the last week and a half, and they came to have another drink. So hopefully we're going to get the other females coming through and doing the same thing, and then we'll have a really good view. You can see one of the lionesses gazing off into the distance. Perhaps she's watching the sun as it sets this evening. We actually missed the sunset, which is unusual. I always like to see the sun go down. But we had our backs facing the sun as we were watching the lions. Also just starting to hear all the calls of the night. Oh, I see what they're looking at. There's a few. Is it a nyala? I don't know if you can see them through there. But down there, somewhere in between those trees, I think it might be a bit difficult. I think the view is slightly obstructed. But there are in some inyala. I think if you go a little, there's one. And now there seems to be quite a few of them. And that's what that lioness is watching. Now, I know the Nkuhumas, their diet seems to consist mainly of buffalo. But perhaps they could have room for a little bit of inyala. But they look fairly full. Now, I'm not sure if the carcass is in there. I'm very uncertain. I did see a vulture sitting up on top of the tree, waiting. But that vulture could also just be perched there just because the lions are around. Sometimes the big raptors and also the vultures will actually just sit and wait and follow predators. I used to see that quite a bit with the wild dogs, how the vultures, when they'd see the wild dogs, they'd start circling above them because they are such successful killers, and that the chances that they are going to kill something is much better than that of a lion. And they'd hang around. Giving herself a little groom, making sure you keep that coat in tip-top shape. Trying to look in between the grooves. I wonder if there's maybe a tick or something there that she's trying to get. You've got lots of, here you go. See how she's sort of didn't enjoy that. Perhaps there was a little ectoparasite that had latched on. And those folds of skin are not normally there. It's just the way that she's sitting and hunched herself over. Very important though that they keep themselves nice and clean. Sometimes what you'll even see, and I've seen it happen quite a lot, I haven't seen it with the Nkuhumas yet, is often after they've groomed themselves, they'll go and roll in something like elephant dung or buffalo dung to try and hide their scent. And I'm sure these lovely ladies do it, I just haven't seen them perform that behavior just yet. And so just Texan's just repositioning. Oh, we may even be able to see the Birmingham now. Let's see what Texan's going to do first. Perhaps, don't worry, he's not going to go too far though. She's definitely gazing off in the distance. I wonder if this is not that young lioness. I can't see too well. There he is, the Mr. Big Birmingham boy himself, with the hole still in his face. Let's see, look at us, a bit of flies irritating that wound on his face. He's not going to look at us, he's too busy watching the other vehicle. Maybe he'll look at us, but it looks like it's healing so far. And I suspect that he'll be okay, but we'll wait for him to stare back across us. It's so peaceful, everybody. It is so beautiful this evening. That's why I'm reluctant to say anything. Watching these lions groom is almost therapeutic. Yes, it does look like the young female, doesn't it? We are getting towards twilight though. The light is going to start playing tricks on us. Getting in between those paws and between the toes. Just making sure there's no thorns or any ticks that have perhaps gone quite close to the pad. I'm going to check over my shoulder where who the rest of them are. No one else is coming out here. So the other three lovely ladies must be back with all the cubs. Oh, I can hear lots of moaning coming from the drainage line. I think those little ones are getting a bit rowdy. Now she's cleaned herself up nicely. She's ready for the night. I'd really like to know though what is in that drainage line, if there is actually a kill there. And that could also be the reason as to why the other females aren't moving. Perhaps they don't want to move too far away and run the risk of something coming in and stealing their kill. So they never seem to be too bothered. They always seem to leave half carcasses. Oh! One female's just got up and ran. Now where did you go and why did you go? We need to reposition everybody. We're going to go underneath. We're going to go across the dam wall. Hang on everyone. Right, now the one female is going around in the bushes. Can you get her running off into the distance? She's running now. Sorry everybody, we're watching this in Nkuhuma. She's seen something. I don't know what she's seen. But this definitely to me feel... Oh, there's an Inyala right there. Can you see the Inyala to the right? Andreas, you can more than welcome to ask questions on YouTube, on Twitter. You can email us questions. You can do whatever you like. We are watching a lioness. She can't be more than about 10 meters away from a big Inyala bull, everybody. This is amazing. I think it is the young female lioness. She is such a keen huntress. No, Inyala's spotted her, darted away. I don't know if you can see that male disappearing into the distance. Oh, I need to take a breath. I almost didn't breathe that entire time. And it's gone. I think she realized that her opportunity is now over. But now I'm surprised that the Inyala bull didn't let off any alarm calls. That was so close. He was right there. She should have just made a move. But this is why lions are not the most successful hunters. They have to rely on getting too close to their prey. But perhaps again tonight they will attempt. Unbelievable. I can't believe that was so close. This one's still very keen, just listening, waiting for a signal. Looking back over her shoulder, perhaps towards that drainage line to see if anybody else heard. Not that there was too much commotion, it happened very quickly. No, that other female is coming back now. You can see her just coming in the distance. A little bit further, yeah, if you go straight in a bit further to the right. So that lioness, I don't know if you can see, is sort of in the middle of your screen, in the trees. Ooh, got contact calling. It's probably saying something like, you guys are so lazy. I like to try and do that all by myself. Come on, pick it up a pace. I'm confused now. I thought that was the young lioness that went running off, but perhaps it wasn't. Let's see. We need to reposition again, everybody. Getting a little bit dark, so I'm deciding what I'm going to do now. If these lions go back into the drainage, unfortunately we're not going to be able to go in there because of all the little cubs that are around. So I'm just making sure I don't drive David into the trees. Right, just before the sun goes down, I believe Jamie's got the stripy animals. Let's have a quick look at them while I reposition.
I nearly made it to the road before I found myself stuck in traffic at a zebra crossing. Nope, Still not funny. Anyway, there is a lovely herd of zebra standing here, and in particular, this particular female, I think it's a female, that doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. My dear, I was planning on going out that way. She's snorting across to some of the other zebra. Yeah, she doesn't look like she's in any kind of a hurry. Just imagine how happy the zebra must be at the moment to be enjoying the fresh green grass. Although it's less green here than it is in other places, it's still a vast improvement on what they've been eating up until now. Here you go, girl. Off you go. Thank you. Such a beautiful evening. Summer has well and truly arrived. It's now warm at night. Up until recently it was still jacket weather, but it's warm, it's clear, and it's beautiful. Right, my traffic jam has started to move, and I really do want to get onto the road because I want to just check and see how my tyre's doing after all of this. I did actually start off the afternoon with a very kind gift from Brentwood in the form of a flat tire that I'm hoping has made it all the way through. How are we doing, Liam? We're good. Yes. I was quite concerned actually that we were not going to make it onto the road, but we have. Right, I'm going to go off in search of all kinds of mysterious nocturnal creatures, but let's head back across to Tayla, who already has some.
So they've managed to sit down again, and that lioness that went dashing off is coming back around. So hopefully she's going to walk past us, and then we will swing away and have a look at her. Now I'm very confused, everybody, because I honestly thought that one that went racing off was perhaps the youngest lioness of the Nkuhumas, but apparently it's not, because the Birmingham is hot on the heels of this female over here, as you can see. Oh, hang on. Oh, I can't put the spotlight on, everybody. The cubs are coming out, so we're going to have to stay here, I'm afraid. But you could probably hear them. I'm going to sit quietly. Everybody, I'm also just looking over my shoulder because I've got lions coming on either side of me, and I obviously just need to keep an eye out on them. They all seem to be moving, the cubs and everybody. Perhaps we'll try the infrared again this evening. And just wait for the sun to go down just a little bit more. And then we'll have a look. We have Franklin shouting in the distance. Yes, we hear you. Good night. Go to bed now. Another one responding. Should we try this infrared, David? What do you think?
Yeah, if the ladies are happy.
Rebecca, can you hear me in final control? Can we turn on the infrared? I'm talking to Rebecca, everybody. Okay, everybody, you're going to see a little bit of a funny picture happen, but we're going to start turning on all the infrared lights. It's going to go a little bit dark. Darby, let me know when you're ready.
Sure.
We just got to flick a whole lot of switches, everyone. And then once Darby gives me the go-ahead, then I'm going to turn off all of these lights. Okay, ready. Spotlight off. 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 We are now on infrared. Now, let's try and get out of here, David, because the other lions, I think, are moving towards the road. So we're going to do a bit of maneuvering. I'm going to use my spotlight, but just on the ground so I can see where I'm going, because they are going straight towards the road. Now I want to try and get us out safely. Now that we are infrareded up, don't know if that's a word, infrareded, but it's going to become one. Wow! Is all I can hear from the little cubs behind me. So let's try and get in front of them so we don't have to move around too much. It's one thing moving around with them during the day, but at night it's another thing. We've got little ones over here. You can just have a look at them. You can see two over there. One is walking away again. We need to try and move around. But now this lioness has blocked my spot. But maybe we'll find another little way through here, because I think they're going to go and drink some more water. The ones that hadn't had a drink yet. Which little gap can I go through? I think I can sneak through here. They're drinking again, everybody. Let's reposition once more. Right. Okay, Rusty doesn't want to reverse. That's fine. Just want to go around quickly because the lions have blocked our way out, everyone. I'm going to put my lights on here just so I can make it over all these horrible bumps. Yeah, we're almost around, everybody. Just a few more moments. Get onto this bumpy road, and then we're going to have a fantastic view. I can switch off all my lights. Oh goodness. I almost fell out of the vehicle. It was so bumpy. There we go. Now you can see the entire pride, almost, except one female and a Birmingham. They're off to the side, the honeymoon couple. All having a drink. Oh, there they come. The honeymoon couple has joined the party. You can see these little cubs are quite curious as to why we're still here. They're probably thinking, hey, this is the time that you leave and we have private time. We're not going to move around too much. Now, Francois wants to know, hello, Francois from a local Cape Town, which is in South Africa. He wants to know, have I ever had any of the animals acting aggressively towards me? Very few, I'm lucky to say. I've just been charged twice by elephants, but not very serious ones. I was on the road and I very easily could outrun the elephants. It was an elephant bull and muster I didn't know was there. And then a female cow that just came charging out from the thicket. I don't know what was wrong with her, but I obviously immediately reversed and left her alone. So there was two sort of surprise charges. And that's really it. And I hope it stays that way. We obviously don't want to upset the animals at all. So when something does happen, I can tell you that we as guides, we feel terrible. It's not always that it was our fault, they get upset too. They have different personalities. Maybe something didn't happen that something happened that wasn't great in their life. Maybe they lost a calf, something along those lines. That stresses animals out too. So that's all that's happened to me, Francois, and I hope to keep it that way. It's been good 5 years. I don't think that's too bad. It's good to always give space and let the animals come to you rather. And reading their behavior is the most important thing. My goodness, I've got a lion using the luxury bathroom. Oh, can you hear that? That is how close this lion is. That you can probably hear the scraping of her feet on the ground. She's right behind my vehicle. Behind Rusty. Rusty, don't get scared. We'll be okay. Everybody's looking. All the little cubs looking in the same direction. Don't fall in. Otherwise you're going to have a very cold evening. Wow. There's one lioness. I know you can't see it. It's a very awkward angle. I just wanted to tell you what she's doing. She was just standing looking into the distance. I think they're still listening. And I'm sure they'll take a big Inyala bull down if the opportunity is there. However, I think that would just be a tasty snack for all of them. I don't think it would feed on it for much longer than a few hours, and then it would be finished. Good evening, Donna. So Donna wants to know why the leopards are given specific names, whereas the lions are not. Now, Donna, it's all got to do with the research purposes and the fact that leopards mark and defend territory. So you see the individuals on their own. Now, with lions being the only social cats that you see, it's more difficult to give each individual a name and try and keep tabs on it. So normally they give a name to the pride. For instance, we are looking at the Nkuhumas, and the males, if they have a coalition, they will give that coalition of males a name too. If it's a male on his own, he will get his own name. But that's the reason. It's really just because there's big groups of the lions, whereas the leopards are individuals. So they get their own name. So remember, these names are not sort of pet names. The names are only here just for research purposes, like Jamie was telling you today about the Panthera project that happens in this area. So everyone, I just want to very quickly listen to the game drive radio. I turned it off for a moment. I'm very impressed with these lion cubs. They seem very relaxed with us. They're actually coming up to us. You can see them looking towards us. They don't seem too bothered by us at all, but I am going to limit my movement. I'm going to keep quite still. Now, their eyesight is fantastic, and I know Daniel from Scotland was asking just that. How good can lions see? Now, during the day, obviously their eyesight is much better than what it is at night. However, they are well adapted to see during the night. So you can see those little white stripes, which we had a look at earlier today underneath their eyes. Those little white stripes actually help reflect light, moonlight, starlight, back into their eyes. It helps them see a little bit better. So lions have got lots of rods in their eyes, lots of light receptors, which enables them to use the teeniest, tiniest bit of light to see. I'm pretty sure they're probably seeing something similar to what we're looking at now. They see movement very well as well. And that's why you often see things like all the herbivores, the kudu, the nyala, when they feel as though they have been spotted, they perform the freeze technique. They stand very still, hoping that the lion won't be able to pick them up amongst all the trees. All going in. These little ones have all had lots of water this evening. It's very hot. Myself and David have been rehydrating on numerous occasions. And as I'm sitting here watching them, I'm feeling thirsty as well. It's also nice to see that you can see these little ones are getting older, because the older they get, the more water they're going to start drinking and not really relying on mom's milk. Because when they're really young, they don't really drink as much water as what the adults do. Okay, I'm checking. Oh goodness, this lioness has now decided she's going to lay right behind the vehicle. I think we'll hang around here for a few minutes longer with the Nkuhumas and see what they get up to. While I do so, let's go see how Jamie's afternoon has been going.
Well, I've decided for the last few moments of the sunset safari that I'm on a hyena mission. I'm trying to see, I've taken myself and Viam all the way up to the top northwestern corner of Djuma, because that, of course, is as close as we can get to the hyena den that is now on Manyaleti. And I'd see their tracks coming along Sandy Patch Road every single morning that I come along here. So I know that they're using this as a regular pathway, that and Galago shortcut, backwards and forwards into Djuma. So they're coming by each and every night. Some of you have seen them on the dam cam a few times. I was hoping perhaps we might bump into them as we trundle along. I'm still hoping for a miraculous return of our hyenas. And can you just imagine how big those cubs are going to be now, and how impossible they're going to be to tell apart straight away. And December must be wondering about on his own. November. Oh, let's go over to Tayla. Lion's roaring.
Turn your volume up, everybody. The scary thing is, everybody, I can only feel my vehicle vibrating. It was one of the lions that just let out that belting roar. I cannot even see it, but it's somewhere there by that shrub that you're looking at. Somewhere in there. It was quite amazing. I didn't know where the noise is coming from. I could just feel the whole vehicle vibrating. So that was initiated by another Birmingham that was calling in the distance. And this was the Birmingham and was obviously responding. I don't know where he is. I'm just going to shine my spotlight down in front so you're going to see the vehicle just shaking a little bit. Where are you? He must just be behind the shrub. Okay, well he seems to be, you can see he's somewhere behind the shrub. It's quite thick, I can't see him. My heart, everybody, is that quite something special to be sitting in complete darkness and to hear not just one lion roar, but to hear 3 different lions roaring around you is quite surreal. And I know Jamie had that experience the other night. I'm just catching my breath in between. It was quite special. And she said to me that she couldn't wait for me to experience what she got to. So I think, David, this is your second time.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, now I know where the luck is coming from, everybody. It's not from me, unfortunately. It's from David, Downpour Dave, the weather predicting man. But there's nothing more special than hearing a lion roar right next to your vehicle. And I know all of you at home are probably itching to be on the safari vehicle with either myself or Jamie, but if I can make a suggestion, is install the biggest subwoofer you can find, and when the lion roars, turn your volume full blast, and that vibration that you get from the subwoofer, that is what we are feeling. That resonating chamber that they have on the back of their throats it allows for that sound to amplify to such levels that it feels like you're standing in front of a big speaker at a rock concert. Hoping we're going to get another roar again. Perhaps as that other Birmingham comes through. Look at these little cubs that were fighting and playing with each other. The one on the left looked like it was sulking now and moving off. Sorry everybody, I thought I could hear another roar in the distance, possibly one very far away. Now they seem to be on the move again. Big stretch on the left hand corner. I'm pinned in by lions at the moment. I cannot actually go anywhere. I have to wait for either this male to move or the female behind my vehicle to move. But don't worry, I'm perfectly safe. They're not bothered about me inside the vehicle, as long as I don't try and drive over them. I shall wait for them to move. David, I hope you're ready for a long night.
Yes.
We may be here for a while. Did you bring any snacks this afternoon? Any fruit?
No snacks, sorry.
Oh, no snacks. We're going to go hungry. Don't worry, we'll be fine. We'll get out of here. I'm just joking around. No, they've settled down again. I think they just came through to have a quick drink of water. Which I don't blame them on this hot summer's day. It felt like summer. I'm hoping we get lovely hot days again and a build-up. And I can't wait to see the big thunderstorm clouds building up. Normally they start building up at this time of the year. And then we get the big lightning and loud thunder. All those wonderful things to look forward to. It's now deathly quiet out here. I can only just hear a few crickets. And even they're being particularly quiet tonight, possibly from the traumatic experience after that lion roared. Okay, Birmingham is moving to the right next to my vehicle. Rusty. Just trying to fix the infrared lights. Oh no. Okay, no worry. Should I try and turn the vehicle slightly? It's a bit dark. Everybody. One of the lights were refusing to move, but no matter. I can move the vehicle. Should we try that? Let's try move the vehicle. We can have one little look at this male lion. Very quickly, everybody. I'm almost done. I hope there's no trees behind me. Sounds like a small one, but it'll survive. Sure, he was lying close to me. Okay. Hello, Mr. Birmingham. Here he is again. It's going to go a little bit dark. He's going to go to the other side now. It's so close. There we are. Jacqueline, I'm so glad that that lion roar was literally tear-jerking. It's quite special to see something like that. Let's see if this male's going to perhaps come over and try and entice this female to mate. He's been quite curious and inquisitive with all. There's a big yawn with all the females. He goes over to them and checks them just to make sure that anybody else is perhaps coming into estrus. But it doesn't seem like it just yet. And she doesn't look like she's interested in mating at all this evening. Oh, and he passed some wind, everybody. Now we're getting a big whiff of that, which is not great. Lion flatulence. Now he's gone to sleep again. Okay, let's go forward one last time and have a little look at the lions, the lion cubs. Oh, Dory, I'm glad you can hear those crickets that I was talking about. I'm hoping I'm not running any lions over. Nope, not running lions over. They're not chirping as loudly as they normally do. You can still see them there, sleeping. Not doing too much, I'm afraid. But this is lions for you. They tease you, they taunt you, they groom themselves, they yawn, they roar, and you think they're going to get up and do a big parade for you, handstands and cartwheels, and then they sleep. Those little ones are trying to suckle, and they're being told no, I'm afraid. Beautiful, isn't it? I could just sit here the entire night watching everything that's going on. Now, it's come to that time of the evening again where I'm going to have to say a goodbye to you. And I know, unfortunately, Jamie and VM didn't get to say goodbye. So I know they send their regards. Thank you to everybody, the entire team at Safari Live. And we hope to see you tomorrow morning on the Sunrise Safari. So from myself and Darby, have a lovely night. Let's have a look at the lions before we go. Good night, everybody. Wow. They get it quite cheap. Isn't that a nice sibling? Little groom.